Hi, I'm Stephanie, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Let's Talk Film, a series where contemporary women get a chance to have their voices heard on the latest film releases. Today's film we'll be reviewing is Pixar's latest animated feature, Brave, written by Brenda Chapman, Mark Andrews, Steve Purcell, and Irene Michi. Directed by the team of Mark Andrews, Brenda Chapman, and Steve Purcell. I am sitting here inside of the Hudson Eatery, known for its American comfort foods. It's located here on the corner of 11th Avenue and 57th Streets, directly across from broadcast network giant CBS and the dealership of automotive icon BMW. Over the years, this neighborhood has evolved to include several small-scale residential buildings and industrial properties, and the Hudson Eatery, with its all-day breakfast and after-work drinks, offer up the best of both worlds. Let's have a seat and find our comfort zone. So I'm here with George, owner and manager of Hudson Eatery. George, thank you so much for doing this interview for Let's Talk Film.
My pleasure.
So tell me a little bit about the decor of this place. It's got some very striking features, very interesting bulbs, and I hear there's an interesting story of how it relates to the sunset.
Well, when the designer came in to do the whole, the layout and everything, he wanted to do something different, something not seen in, sit-down restaurants. So, he did his thing. He did whatever he wanted. We didn't bother him. We stood back, and this was came out.
Can you tell us a little bit about the kind of crowd that you usually have, or do you have any special nights?
We have Thursday nights, we have a DJ. So from 6 to 10, we have a DJ. So, it gets a little, fun. People dance, stuff like that.
Indeed.
We have all-day breakfast. Mm-hmm. And you can come in at 9 o'clock at night and order pancakes if you want. We can do it for you. Indeed. We also have a happy hour from 4 to 7. And we also have signature cocktails that we also serve.
Ooh, can you describe some of
yours? Watermelon martini. We have a gummy bear martini. We have a blue Hawaiian, which is like a blue Hawaiian, a blue martini. It's we have a couple of things that you could take a look at the menus, whatever you want. We have our own cocktail menu you can look at, and we have a few and a couple of different exciting drinks.
Now, can you tell me anything on your menu that you would recommend us to try today?
Anything on my menu, I would definitely recommend the Hudson Burger.
Hudson Burger. And do you have any vegetarian options?
We have veggie burgers.
Okay.
We have a lot of salads.
Okay.
We have a lot of salads. We have over 8 or 9 salads you can choose and pick.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to try out some of what you have. So thank you so much, George.
My pleasure.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
And now let's meet our panelists. To my left, I have Carla Rose Fisher. Carla is an award-winning songwriter who lives in New York. She is also a freelance content writer. Next, we have Diana Quinones Rivera. Diana is a filmmaker from Puerto Rico based in Jersey City. And rounding out our panel for today, we have Stephanie Smith. Stephanie is an educator, social justice activist, and foster mom who resides on Maui in Hawaii. Today's film we'll be reviewing is the animated film Brave, co-written by Brenda Chapman, Mark Andrews, Steve Purcell, and Irene Michi, and directed by the team of Brenda Chapman, Mark Andrews, and Steve Purcell. The original working title of this film was The Bow and the Bear, which the studio ultimately changed to Brave. Do you find the title Brave misleading?
I think the title is so apropos. I mean, she developed a courage that came out at times that were inopportune and times that were opportune, and I feel like it shows that each of us have that quality if we can dig it up.
I think the bravery was always there. As soon as they introduced the character to us, she's already making her own decisions. Mm-hmm. But I think that at the end it's kind of like her trying to demonstrate to her mom that she can make it on her own, and that's where the bravery comes out. And, and I feel like that's the importance of the title of the film. That she's trying to demonstrate that she has that power.
Yeah, and I think that I've heard a couple critics knock that title too, because the one word title, and but also the Bow and the Bear would have kind of been a bit of a spoiler too. I mean, it might not have been. I think Brave is just perfect.
Right.
It's aspirational.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Quality,
accurate,
yeah.
and it just fits.
All
So-
of the films
so
in
it's
the
like-
past had like more intricate titles,
Sure.
well thought titles,
Yeah.
titles that were more metaphorical, and now it's like titles are very simplified.
Yeah, that's
so
what I was
that you go
thinking.
to the cinema and you already know
Brave,
what
yeah.
you're gonna be looking at.
Yeah, and if you
Yeah.
have to sum up Merida in one word, that's the perfect word.
Yeah.
Indeed. But I don't know. There's something about the encapsulation of Merida in like this ancient folklore that was so appealing to me. But Brave, I felt like was probably more of a marketing choice overall. It's just like you say, quick. You know what you're going to
Make it
see.
more
You know what you're
appealing.
getting. It's kind of packaged, so that, that kind of fit. But I can see The Bow and the Bear being a leather-bound book. Somewhere. I could
Yeah.
really see that
Yeah.
somewhere. What besides the lack of an evil stepmother sets this film apart from other princess fairy tale films we've seen in the past? I mean, I think overall we kind of touched base on some of the things that really set it apart. Primarily the mother-daughter relationship, not really staying in your kind of destined lane, choosing your destiny or where you feel your life should go. Lack of battle scenes.
The queen was stronger than the king. The queen was a bit stronger than the king
Yes.
too, which was the other thing. I mean, I think that she kind of. I loved him, by the way,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Billy Connolly, he's
Yeah.
funny. But I
King
think
Fergus.
the queen had a bit more power.
Mm.
And
Sure did.
she ruled in a very female way, and that female energy, with that female energy and the in a traditional but not like passive aggressive kind of that
Letting him have the power, but her being the mouthpiece. You know what I mean?
yeah, that not that dishonest sort of like behind the scenes way, but just in a very straightforward feminine energy.
Being
way.
asserted.
And Merida didn't identify with that. She didn't hang out with her mom, do the activities that her mom did.
Right.
Or that her mom wanted her to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, for
And
that.
she did all the things that her father, that's why she and her father are so close, which was represented pictorially in the tapestry.
Yes.
The proximity of them, to me, showed the relationship between her and her father was so strong. And then the mother, was something that they just needed to hang out more. I thought.
They just
Yeah.
needed to connect. What do you think? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Also, for him to have a wooden leg, it's like you're taking away something of his manhood, and that's why he's kind of a comical character. And I feel like that gives more strength to the other characters
Oh,
because
yeah.
he's kind
That
of like
is really
silly and like comical.
Indeed. So that's another thing I think. Oh, and the other thing for me that sets this one apart than the others was that I'm trying to find a kind of roundabout way of saying this, but I guess there really was no main love interest. I think that we also get wrapped up in this main love interest, saving someone, saving the princess in the end, but we really didn't have any of that at all. There really wasn't any of that at all. And in fact, the person who wound up saving her in the end, for me, offers the best lesson to most viewers. So I hope that everyone kind of gets that out of this film. Much has been made of Merida's hair. Would you almost consider it a character in its own right?
It is. It's so important.
Yeah.
Since she's like a little kid, they show her with her hair. It's like such an important part of it because it just shows who she is as a little girl, as a woman. She's going to be a rebel, and she's not going to be controlled. She's not going to tie up her hair. She even like pulls it out in one of the scenes. Just to show, she's not gonna fit into this mold.
Right,
Exactly.
one lock, just one
Just
lock.
one
Yeah.
lock,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's very rebellious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like how the curls weren't perfect, It wasn't princess curls. It was frizzy at times, and, if you looked at the hair, I mean, you saw it in 3D, so, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was definitely a thing to see on 3D. And I always believe if a film is shot on 3D, look at it on 3D because that's the way that the filmmaker intended it to be seen. Yeah.
A friend and I were talking last night about a review she had seen with the one of the animators talking about how she deliberately left her hair wild, and that it was a very deliberate metaphor for her character, you know, and I so could see that, and I love that, you know, as having, my hair is very short now, but, you know, when I was a kid and as I got older, you know, having long, curly, wild, untamable hair, I just so identify with Merida, and it is so nice to finally see that in a character. You know, look at all of us sitting here with these like wild curls, you know, and I never see anybody that looks like me on the screen, you know, for various reasons. So at least to see a piece of something that I can relate to in a character. And my friend was telling me that this article, she talked to the animator was talking about how she deliberately didn't want the hair to be anything close to tame or tameable. And she wanted little girls who had curls to relate and to really see that in themselves, see themselves in the character.
The other princesses had smooth hair,
yeah,
so it's interesting.
or slightly wavy or something like that. But yeah, it definitely looked like, you know, it had been conditioned or done something to. But yeah, with her, she didn't want anything done, and that's how a lot of young people are. Which I also feel like will make this film relatable. There's so much that they don't want done to themselves that they just want to naturally exist, that I feel like they can find that kind of connection with Merida as a character. But her hair was a character on its own. Not just the curls, not just the color, but also just the way it was animated, each highlight. I don't know. I really do wish I had have seen it in 3D, because I think that there were parts of it that would have popped, but her hair in and of itself, it was its own. The trailers and marketing material for the film are very vague in regards to the plot for this film. Were you surprised by the actual storyline when you went to see the film?
Yes, definitely.
I was surprised.
Yep.
I had no clue that it was going to be, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Indeed.
I was really happy.
Yeah, the main conflict, I didn't see that coming at all.
You know, it's funny, I went with my aunt, and she was like, you know, I really thought it'd be girls fighting boys.
Another
And I was like,
traditional film.
Right,
And then, bam.
Yeah.
Indeed, there was something else for us. Did you like or dislike this film?
Oh, hands down, loved it.
I liked it.
That was great.
Yeah.
What would you say was the core message of this film?
Well, besides the communication theme that we talked about, the mother and daughter, I also felt like a big thing was tradition versus going against or going toward our very natures, and how, you know, butting of heads against our natures, and there's so much with that between the mother and Merida, and it's not until they each try each other's
Way of life.
that they find out that they understand each other better and they can connect, and I really, really liked that a lot. That was a really strong theme for me.
I think also the film was proposing that every human being has that power to change the course of their life, and that you are the only one that can make that happen for yourself. And not that fate is all written, but that sometimes there's a path for you that's there, but you just have to be brave enough to look at it and see it and recognize it and own it.
Yeah.
I think that it could be that fate chooses you as much as you choose your fate. You know, I mean, that we have to have the courage to step in to what fate's chosen for us.
If you were not on this panel, would you have gone to see this film?
Definitely. Yeah.
Especially because this girl has this wild hair.
Yeah.
So ladies, thank you so much for spending this time and sharing your fascinating thoughts and comments with me on this film. I really appreciate your company.
Thank you for having us.
I would like to thank George for allowing us to shoot here at the Hudson Eatery. Again, today we were discussing the animated film Brave, co-written by Brenda Chapman, Mark Andrews, Steve Purcell, and Irene Michi, and directed by the team of Brenda Chapman, Mark Andrews, and Steve Purcell. For this and more, be sure to check out our website at www.letstalkfilmdotcom, and now available for your mobile device as well. Until next time, I'm your host, Stephanie Aline. Keep watching and keep talking film.
Mm-hmm.